and this is called Walk with Purpose. And yeah, this is my first time doing this, so I'm sorry if I mess up. The question was posed to me. Supposedly, reform was not quite the norm it was supposed to be. 1955, Brown versus the Board of E. Accordingly, we cordially state and quote to this day, segregated schools are unconstitutional. Now wait. Before you microwave assumptions like a minute steak, this hot take, let it bake. By no means am I talking about racism or slavery. I'm rather admiring an act of bravery. It's 1960. 5 years since that moment took part in the movement. Things still haven't made the necessary improvements to prove once and for all we're all equal. And schools are supposed to join in the sequel, but the evil still existed and took its part. Don't ever think the law can change a person's heart. So again, 5 years and it remains wild how some schools have not offered education for a colored child. The question, living in those conditions, would you position your 6-year-old black daughter to be brought up in that system? A chance to finally no longer play the victim, but to be a victor in changing what we'd expect, and maybe she gets lucky, basically playing Russian roulette with her education. Place her with no regrets. Maybe she doesn't get worn out like a cassette. Maybe they don't treat her like a silhouette. That'd be a silly bet. My face beyond upset at the question, so naturally I responded eloquently with a symphony, yet no one would sing with me. With my lack of timidity, when I admittedly answered with bold fear and stated indifferently, with no shown sympathy to being politically correct, I literally said, heck no. Why would I do that? Place her out of her comfort zone. This part of history is not often shown. They probably have her in class alone. I could see the students running out like you would if you saw someone peeing in the pool. Yeah, they treat her like a stool. This elephant in the room will be pouched real soon, and they'll keep the tusk, because style always comes from us, but that's another subject. Back to the scenario where the scenery seems to be seedless fruits, endlessly enclosing no empathy, but handing out empty-handedly. Crops with no soil just left to rot and spoil. No harvest to harness or foster. Not my daughter. To the question at hand, I'd rather stand with the colored folk. Yes. The education is lesser, but the camaraderie is greater. At least she'll be taught and won't slip through the cracks. But again, this isn't about racism or slavery. This is rather admiring an act of bravery. It was savory to witness someone's willingness to eat bits and pieces so there could be room at the table for sons, daughters, nephews, and nieces, the best hues. Yes, you can guess who. This story is about Ruby Bridges and how she bridged the gap. Can I tell you how she saved me? Because I realized the hypothetical question on paper was a real one. See, Ruby Bridges was born in 1954, a civil rights leader, at least in my eyes, because she changed the education of colored lives for our lives. Ruby's dad wanted her to be in black schools for reasons that came to mind, but her mom knew it was time, and no joke, this is some of the most impactful words for us folks. One of the illest quotes that instilled us hope, and I quote, "She wasn't selfish, but was thinking of families in the millions. Take this step forward for all African American children." I'm not sure your textbooks made room, but listen. She started school in November, 2 months after everyone else. They threw so much loops at her, they must have mistaken her for a circus. But she walked with purpose. As she was escorted to school with the U.S. Marshal Service, just so she can make it to first period, to dot them periods, to prove her mom's words true, that she was no idiot, and impact our lineage without having us experience it, she walked with purpose. As the parents complained to the school board, begged them to restore things to as they were before. They even took their kids out of the class, you see, because they refused to see beyond her hue. But with her impact on the institute, she will continue to walk with purpose. As the lunch lady threatened her daily to poison her meals, but Ruby remained buoyant for real, she walked with purpose. As riders would sound quieter in Ruby's ears, as if inside of her was a silencer that would suppress all fears. As she was taught a full year without a single peer. And that didn't happen until one teacher decided to teach her. Shout out to Miss Barbara Henry, as she chose not to remain lost in Boston, but went all in so this child won't be fallen, tossed in a coffin. And Miss Barbara proved she was up to the task. She said she taught her as if she was teaching a whole class. Oh yes, Ruby walked with purpose. As she got offered a psychiatrist to sort through the trauma, while she's yet to get her elementary education diploma, just so she can battle the thoughts of constantly being told she was worthless, she walked with purpose. And here's the kicker. Ruby's father lost his job. Her parents could no longer shop at their local supermarket, and even their grandparents lost their land. Because her family knew that they deserved this, that we deserved this. So she walked with purpose. as a family got ostracized, as this young pecker with a heart that was ostracized, to assure the freedom won't get taken off your side, off my side, and to remind you she was on the other side of 5. And to remind you this wasn't about racism or slavery. This is about admiring an act of bravery. It's very savory how she kind of saved me. Her parents lost everything. She lived a tough life, fought a tough fight so we didn't have to. Reminiscent of Christ and how God gave up everything. And Jesus lived the perfect life so we didn't have to. Jesus said in John 14:12, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. Very truly, Ruby did a great thing. And I know I owe Christ my life, but man, I gotta tell you, it's because of people like Ruby Bridges I didn't grow up to be a failure. So thank you, Ruby Bridges. So walk with purpose. Thank you.